Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am chasing the shade today on this very hot July afternoon here in North Texas. And the reason why I am outside at 3 p.m. in the afternoon is because I need to get some seeds started for my fall garden. And because we're in the process of reorganizing and decluttering and revamping our office, my wire seed starting shelf is not available for seed starting. It has books and miscellaneous office supplies and musical equipment and all kinds of things on it. So I have to start my seeds outdoors. Typically when you're seed starting, it's in a very controlled environment with like a heat mat and grow lights where you can keep everything at the optimal temperature for whatever seeds you are starting. Because I don't have that available to me and I don't have a window that faces the correct direction for seed starting, I'm going to make do with what I have, start seeds on my patio. I am going to place them on this wall right here. This is the one that gets shade earliest, so I'm going to place them up against this wall so that they won't be blasted by the abhorrent heat of the day. Now we are at the part of the summer where even in the mornings it's already hot, but because it will get some of the earlier day shade, I'm hoping that these little seed babies don't end up getting scorched. So yeah, I'm just making do with what I have, doing the best that I can do. With living in North Texas, that means that I can grow food basically year-round with little to no protection, depending on the crop, and then of course depending upon our weather. Now the past few years we have gotten some incredibly cold snaps. In 2021 we had a very deep freeze. I think it reached into the negatives Fahrenheit in our area for several hours. We had several inches of snow with ice and all kinds of fun things, and a lot of people around the entire state lost power for a week or longer. That is the coldest that I remember ever having dealt with in Texas. In 2022, at the end of 2022, we were already in this house, and it got down into the single digits Fahrenheit temperatures. So the winter crops that I did have, I did my best to protect them with, you know, frost fabric and those type of things. And then I also ended up throwing any extra towels and old blankets that I had over the frost cloth. I have no idea if it helped or not. There were some things that survived though, cabbages and broccolis and stuff, so I'm assuming it did. And then I did not have a fall garden last year. I started out with the best of intentions, started all the seeds, did not get very many of them transplanted out, and the few that did get transplanted did not develop into any sort of food that could be eaten. So I am back on trying to grow food year-round since it didn't work out last year, and I used a website called SeedTime in order to figure out when I needed to start my fall garden seeds. And it's so easy. Once you create the account that is free, I do apologize for the wind chime there. Once you create the account that is free, you just enter in the crop that you are wanting to grow. Like in this case today will be Brussels sprouts, and then you'll pick which variety of Brussels sprouts, and it automatically does all the math for you depending upon your exact zip code. So it has done all of the zip codes within the United States to determine the best planting dates for any season gardening. And they have been making constant updates to it, starting to incorporate perennials soon, I believe. And then most recently, they also released some of the features available from the website as an app on your phone. So your phone will tell you what tasks you have to do for that day or that week, and then you can enter in specific journal notes, like if you want to take a quick picture of your garden and say, you know, this is how the garden's doing today, or you want to point out cool harvests or whatever it is that you might be doing. So you have the task list and the journal available through the SeedTime app. It does send me a notification every day, so it's kind of hard to forget what I have going on. But they did not have the app out yet when I did my fall garden planning. So after I entered in all the different crops that I wanted to grow, everything from Brussels sprouts to broccoli, cauliflower, collards, cabbage, root vegetables, turnips, rutabagas, carrots, those type of things, beets, spinach, leafy greens, not lettuce, but other leafy greens like kale and mustard and stuff like that. It gave me the seed starting dates for everything, and it also told me if it was going to be direct to sow, like in the case of the purple broccoli there, or if I need to start the seeds in my seed starting tray and then transplant it out. Now, one thing that I am concerned about with starting the seeds on my patio is the fact that because it is so hot, I do worry that these little seeds are just gonna bolt and I'm not going to get any of the vegetable harvest from them. If it starts to look like maybe the plants are entirely too heat stressed, I will do my best to try to empty off one shelf from my seed starting rack and get the lights back on there so that I can get them indoors in a more controlled environment with cooler temperatures, because really, honestly, anything is cooler than what we have going on right now. So today, aside from the Brussels sprouts that I already mentioned, I'm starting the Groninger Brussels sprouts. I'm also going to be starting a few more varieties of flowers for my flower beds, and I waited on these because they for sure do not like super hot temperatures. These do better in my area in like early to mid-spring. Once it starts to get hot, they fizzle out and go kaput. So I'm hoping that I will get some fall blooms off of these flower varieties, and so I'm going to be starting some petunias. I have 4 varieties, and then once I finish seed starting these things, I'm going to be direct sowing some sunflower seeds. So what I have here is Drop Dead Red. This is a mix of different red varieties of sunflowers. I'm choosing these for fall planting to kind of bring in more of the red fall type color scheme. And then I just have this cool free sunflower mix that I got through a seed swap that has all kinds of different sunflowers in it. Titan, Mongolian, chocolate cherry, and then a common multi-head sunflower, which is probably similar to the one that I volunteered earlier this year. But for the Drop Dead Red, the mix includes Moulin Rouge, Red Wave, Ruby Eclipse, and Joker varieties. Deep Burgundy, Valentine Red, Autumnal Pumpkin Orange Red, and then bicolor types. So I think that this is going to lend some really cool color variety over there in the sunflower patch. I may end up needing to trim the trees so that more sunlight gets through over there, but that will be like on a cloudy day or something because it's so hot. Anyway, so after all of that, one thing that I also like about the SeedTime thing, the SeedTime website, is they will give you your task list on like a calendar view, so you can see, all right, in July, this is what I have going on week by week by week. August is what I have going on week by week by week. And that is for your entire garden as well. So if you're trying to plan out your spring garden for next year, then it will give you your task list for those months as well. So like my seed starting for the spring garden starts in January. So it will give me all my tasks for January. So whenever I input all of those crops and it popped it onto the calendar for me and created my task list, I just put in all of the important dates into my journal. I think I probably could have just printed it out from the website, but I wanted it in my journal here that, you know, has all of my notes about everything else. Probably could have stapled it, but anyway, I like to handwrite too because I'm a weirdo. So I wrote all of the dates. So this week I'm starting the Brussels sprouts and the petunias. Next week will be just Waltham broccoli. I only have one variety of broccoli, so that's the regular broccoli. I have some like sprouting broccoli and then spring broccoli, but those are direct sown at different dates than the broccoli I'm starting next week. And then like I said, all the cabbage and collards and leafy greens and all of those different things, those are all broken out by whenever they need to be planted or started. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll show you guys what I have, what I'm using to start my seeds. So I have these little 12 cell trays. Each individual cell is about 1 1/4 to 1.5 inches square by about 2 inches deep. So I fully expect to need to up-pot these before they get transplanted out. But I wanted to go ahead and get them started to make sure that they're nice and established before they go out into the garden and the days get shorter and eventually cool down. I'm praying for those days. I am not a summer flower, y'all. I'm a winter vegetable. I am not built for this. I like cooler weather. So I'm going to read the tape that I have on the side because that is how I'm labeling these. I'm not going to worry too heavily about creating individual labels for moving them out into the garden or whatever. It's really obvious what a Brussels sprout looks like whenever it starts to form. So I don't think that I need to worry about, you know, saying, hey, this is a Brussels sprout. And then petunias, they're just different colors. So I have double cascade blue petunia, which is actually purple. And then I have double cascade Valentine petunia. I don't remember if these are red or pink. And then I have prism sunshine petunia, and then super cascade burgundy petunia. I will try to put pictures up of those so you guys kind of know what I'm starting. These will be transplanted into my back flower bed. I have a couple of spaces I can squeeze things in, and then my front flower bed, I left a few spaces open up there as well. I just posted the video showing us transplanting sunflowers, zinnias, and marigolds into that space. It's a relatively short video. You can check it out, kind of see what space I have available for the petunias. My husband really likes them. They're kind of a shorter plant, and my husband likes shorter things, and I like wild things. So it's kind of an interesting mix in the front flower bed of the stuff that's growing. So let's go ahead. I know I keep saying this, but let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to plant is the Brussels sprouts. Now, if you, most seed packets will give you planting information on them, either on the back, or some of them will put it on the front, like this one's on the front since it doesn't have a photo. Some seed companies will give you an entire novel's worth of information on the seed packet, and that's really cool. Like, they'll put the rest of the information on the inside of the packet, so as you empty it out, you kind of get like a cool, you know, insert type thing. But read the seed packet. If you don't see the planting instructions, just go to the website and try to find the planting information for that particular variety. For the most part, you know, all tomatoes are going to be planted at the same depth. All peppers are going to be planted at the same depth. Obviously, there's going to be a few exceptions here and there, but for the most part, you know, a good rule of thumb for planting is to make your hole twice as deep as the size of the seed. So let me see if I can show you how tiny these Brussels sprout seeds are. So this is part of the brassica family. So all of the seeds for brassicas look very much the same. They're all these tiny little seeds. I'm tilting the phone to kind of, hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. Hopefully it's clear. All of the seeds are pretty much the same size, same shape, same color even for the brassica family. All of them are going to be planted at, sorry, not all of them, most of them are going to be planted at relatively the same depth. These are going to be a 1/4 of an inch deep because these are very, very small seeds. So I'm just going to take my pinky finger and I'm just going to make shallow little divots in each of my cells, and I'm planting 8. I'm starting 8 cells of Brussels sprouts. That might be crazy. We'll see. I do have family that also eats Brussels sprouts, so I can share if in fact I actually get to harvest any this year. I have started them several years and have not been able to manage to grow them yet. Hopefully this is my year with all these beautiful raised beds. I'm really starting to get fantastic soil health going on. So I'm going to place 2 seeds in each cell simply because these seeds are a little bit older. I've had them a little while and I want to ensure that I'm going to get decent germination out of all 8 cells. And then after, so let me show you guys. So these 8 right here is where the seeds are planted, and then I'll just kind of come fill in those little divots that I made with my pinky, and that'll be that. Now, typically when I'm starting seeds, I will wet the soil down first. I didn't do that today because it's so blasted hot that it would dry up before I got all the seeds started or planted in the cells. So I'm going to wet this down really well and make sure that there's some water standing in the reservoir here after I'm done sowing all of these different seeds. So then the next one that I have is Double Cascade Blue Petunia. I've never started petunias from seed before. The seeds are this one has pelleted seeds, so you can look here and you can see that, back up a little bit because it doesn't want to focus. You can see that all of the seeds have like this tiny little coating on all of them, and that is, it's basically to help you be able to pick it up a little bit easier since the seeds are very tiny. As it gets wet, that coating will break down and then the seeds will germinate. Now, it does take a little longer to germinate seeds with that pelleted coating, so keep that in mind. But it's very good if you have clumsy fingers or you have a hard time, you know, your dexterity isn't the greatest and you have a hard time picking up different things, especially these teeny tiny seeds. And you're trying to be really careful about how many seeds you're putting in each cell. Like basil, it is nearly impossible for me to count out just 2 seeds per cell. I just scatter a whole bunch in there and hope for the best. But these are surface sown. So the way that this is going to work is I'm going to just place them on the surface and then just tap them in barely so they make good contact with the soil, and then make sure that the soil remains pretty moist. It's going to be very difficult with the blazing hot sun, but I'm going to do my best. So these little pelleted seeds in this nifty little container. This packet came with 30 seeds, so I'm going to put 2 in each cell, just because since I've never started petunias before, I don't know how the germination rate is, and I want to try to make sure that I'm able to get, especially these purple ones, I want to make sure that I'm able to get the petunias transplanted out into the garden. Okay, so those are done, and that is a little handy little holster there, container, vestibule. Okay, so the next one is Double Cascade Valentine. So if I remember correctly, the Double Cascade is like kind of frilly blossoms, and I think that's why I got them, because I was very drawn to the frilliness of them, and then the very bright colors. Okay, so this one also has 30 seeds. So let me just, and these are getting 4 cells each, 2 seeds in each cell. That one accidentally got 3 because it's a very tiny seed. All right, cool. I'll get them all planted into their cells, and then I'll go back and press them in. And then the next one is the Prism Sunshine, which has 50 seeds in this packet. These petunia seeds are from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. If you are a naturally clumsy person, these tiny seeds are something else to try to deal with. All right, one more. Okay, so let me just press these in really quickly. Thank you. There is a fly. Probably attracted to my sweat or something because it kept landing on my arm and it tickled. Okay, let me clean these items up from this area where I'm going to put these trays, and then we will go plant the sunflowers. Okay, so they're going right here, kind of on this corner here, in this space where the cowpea green stalk is, kind of this side walkway that goes out into the tomato patch. That is where I'm going to be starting these seeds. Like I said, if we reach the point where it is just too hot and things look like they're really getting, you know, struggling too much, then I will clean off a shelf inside and just try to make things work indoors as best I can. I'm going to use this to start the sunflower seeds so that I don't have to try to dig for something to dig into the soil with. So, all right, out here in the sunflower patch, I had planted several seeds. Roly-polies, got a lot of them. Really bad wind knocked several more down and they ended up getting fungal issues. And then, so this is what I was left with for, you know, early summer seed starting, early summer sunflowers. So I just want to show you these because they're really cute. I don't know what kind they are. Sorry, bee. See if I can do it without making bees mad. Okay. There you go. So I thought these were really cute. I have no idea what variety they are. And then this one over here is really lovely as well. This one I think is just stunning. So what I have that I'm working with is basically 3 cells, 3 squares in that quad because there's 2 sunflowers in this one already. And then I have 4 squares in this quad, and there's nothing available in that one because there's sunflowers growing out of all 4 in some various stage of growth. So that gives me 7 spaces for sunflowers. So I think what I'm going to do is the mix, the free seed mix that I got through the seed swap, I'm going to plant in the back cells, so that would be 4 cells. And then the front cells will be the drop dead red mix. I think that's going to be like quite dynamic if I can get them all to germinate and grow. Roly-polies have really hammered hard on seedlings this year. I'm also going to move this chocolate daisy a bit. It's a little out of control there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 7 cells there, 7 squares for the seeds, and I'm gonna set you guys down in the shade to enjoy the show, hopefully from your air-conditioned space. Here we go. Hello, toad, frog, whatever you might be. So if you guys watched the front transplant video, you will know that there was a toad in the front that scared the daylights out of us because it was underground and, you know, the ground was moving and it kind of startled us. Well, here's a relative to that toad that was up front. I think this is a frog, but I don't know. We have tons of them back here. There was another one back there down in that space just a minute ago. But it makes me really happy to see these guys because I know that they're doing their part for pest prevention. So, set you guys back down and hopefully not tick off the amphibian too much. Alright, Froggo, Toad, whatever you may be. Where'd you go? Oh, okay. Those are all planted, so now we can do the drop dead red. And all the seeds look the same, so I have no way of knowing what I'm planting. So it'll be a beautiful surprise, hopefully. now I'm just filling in these holes, these divots that I made. And I made them all 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep to accommodate the different seed sizes. Startled the frog. You startled me too. We're even now. Okay, so that's it. That's all the seed starting I'm going to do today. I mean, it's hot enough that I really don't want to overexert myself trying to plant all the things at this point. Plus, most of the things, it's not time to start yet. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you liked this channel and you want to see more seed starting content, please like and subscribe and do all those YouTube things. It is greatly helping my channel. But until next time, stay tuned. Later this week there will be another garden update video coming out. But until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures. Bye!